Welcome back to our watercolours on our crazy hair day pictures. We drew these out last week around our own portraits, and we have got a set of watercolours here and a little pot of water, and I've got a few different brushes. And I'm just going to chat while you watch me paint and give you a few ideas about different ways to use your watercolours. The flower I'm on at the minute, you can see I started with orange and I'm blending it into red around the edges. I'm putting one layer of green colour, it's a paler green, onto this bit of my crazy hair, and now I'm going to just leave it alone for a little while and let it dry. And the reason I'm doing that is because I'm going to show you something that you can do later on. You can see me moving around the painting and turning the painting around too, and the reason I'm doing that is so that I don't put my hand or my arm into the wet areas of paint. I clean and dry my brush in between colours so that I can preserve the brightness. Now, if you see what I just did there, I'm adding dots over my dry blue paint. And now watch me in the green space I mentioned before. Once it's dry, I can paint another colour over the top, and it barely changes the colour of the top colour because I used a lighter colour on the bottom. And when you do this in watercolour, you're adding sometimes a pattern or a texture over another colour. The word for it is scumbling. So I have painted, I've let it dry, and then I'm just adding something different over the top for visual interest. So you can do that with light coloured backgrounds with, say, spots or stripes on. You simply paint one colour, allow it to dry, and then go back over with a darker or stronger colour. Now you can see that I move around doing a little bit of blending here. Went round my spiral from yellow to orange to red. And then I'm going to do the same on this flower so you can see how I did it. The trick is to keep your paint just a little bit wetter than normal, and then you can add a deeper or darker or another colour from your sort of colour range to make it into something a little bit more interesting. You can see my very old watercolour set. I've had this for a long time, and watercolours last for a really long time, so that's great. If you look at the blended flower on the left, I'm going to show you how to do that again here. Just by adding water, I'm pulling out the colours in my paint. So I've gone from pink to purple here, and you can see that they just look like they're mixed together quite naturally. And each time I do this, I'm adding water or keeping my work slightly wet so that I don't get a line of colour. So different tricks here: dry brush, a wet brush, going from one colour to the next. We've talked a lot about analogous colours before, which are colours that are next to each other on the colour wheel. And they work really well if you want to do that kind of blending. So the colour on the left up there, the flower there, I've gone from yellow to orange to red. The colour on the right above my head has gone from pink to purple. So if you had a colour wheel in front of you, they'd be close by. I won't finish painting the whole of this while you watch because I'm sure you want to get onto your own work. But I hope I've given you a few ideas for different ways to use your watercolours today. Have a lovely time painting.